All
Hey,
right. Good evening, everyone. It's Mikko here. It's evening here, but good morning, good afternoon to you wherever you are. And today I'm joined by Benno. He's coming all the way from down under. Are you in? How excited are you for the mission, Benno?
I'm uh I'm hearing all kinds of stuff, but I'm very excited.
Great. It's gonna coming hot.
It's all good. I'm back to normal, I think. We've got the NASA guys in the background. Yeah, Orion's on its way in. I'm just trying to get some control here.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
getting very close.
Welcome everybody. Hey
Yeah,
Miko, great to be here, man.
absolutely. It's been a while since we two are alive.
I know. This is like my second time with you guys
Yeah,
at Total Space.
yeah,
We talked about aero braking last time, so this seemed very fitting indeed.
yeah.
And I can't. I think I like re-entry, the idea of re-entry, a little bit more than a launch sometimes. I can't say I'm biased, but it's
Yep,
going to be cool. It's going to be cool. I
it's
mean, it
cool.
really does puts it all together, and it's great to be here, man.
Absolutely.
I'm just
And
can't
looks like
believe
yeah, and
I
looks
can't
like
believe
we
I'm
have a
awake.
few people. Yeah, looks like we have a few people in the chat. Hey,
Hmm.
Rich. Hey, Alex One, and hello, Matthew. Welcome. Benno did say something that Alex might be joining us for a while on the chat. So glad to see you here.
Oh, thanks, mate. All right, what do we got? We got a few people here. Check, check.
Yep, we we do have quite a few people in the chat. So how about we listen in what NASA has to say about the mission?
Why not?
The ship expects to read man flight quarters at 0945.
And what you're hearing are some announcements from the ship PA informing the crew at what stage in the
Sweet,
operation
mate.
we're at. I should mention that we just had helicopters, the MH-60s at the back of the flight deck just launched off and are in flight now to the recovery area. They play an important role here. Shannon, continuing now with our interview, when you look at the operation as a whole, they're currently trying to determine how the astronauts will be recovered. That's not happening today.
That's right.
But that will have to be integrated into the operation. Do they come off immediately after the crew splashes down? Or there's an idea kicking around there to have them stay in the capsule
Right.
and come to the back of the ship. What are your thoughts on both of those? What are the pluses and minuses on those?
Well, certainly the plus of having the crew come off immediately is that the crew is not staying in the capsule for an extended period of time. There'll be a time when we'll have to turn off the cooling in the capsule, which will mean the crew will start getting very warm in their suits. So it's better to get them off before that. Also, you'll probably see later the operations in the well deck. There are a lot of waves in there, and it's probably not going to be a fun ride for the crew to be in there. So you're right, we're looking at it. The actual, let's see, next summer, we're going to have another test run. We'll be out on a ship, and we will be looking at all the different methodologies for getting crew off the capsule.
And may I ask what your particular favorite would be? I mean, I think you've already kind of indicated you're leaning more towards let's get off the ship.
Off immediately. Yeah, so I think we will probably, now don't quote me on this, but we'll probably extract the crew via helicopter from the capsule and helicopter them over to the ship.
And as an astronaut, just briefly, when you come back from space, physically, you're in a condition where, how would you describe it, physically and mentally?
Yeah, so when we come back, we consider crew deconditioned. While on the space station, for example, we have lots of exercise, so we're really strong when we come back. It is still a big adjustment to being in Earth's gravity again. The lunar missions is kind of in the middle between what we did in the shuttle days and what we're doing on the space station. So we don't know exactly how the crew's going to feel, but they're going to be exhausted, and so their balance may be off a little bit. So it's better just to get them out of the capsule. As far as the mental side goes, I found that when I am back on Earth, it's just a huge sigh of relief in that somebody else is worrying all the details, and I can just sit and relax a little bit.
Well, we appreciate you being here. Thank you for all the insight. You're doing a great job of staying balanced amidst the 4 to 5 foot seas as you see the horizon going up and down, right?
It is definitely a challenge.
Thank you very much, Shannon.
This was
Rob,
an
we'll send it back
interesting
to you in
interview
Houston.
from Shannon.
Thanks, Daryl. Thank you, Shannon, and happy sailing out there as we continue to watch this scintillating view of the Earth as we are just 1 hour, 5 minutes away from splashdown. Now, as Shannon Walker alluded to in that interview with Daryl Nail on the USS Portland, we're going to be on the air here for a couple of hours after splashdown, while a number of flight objectives and test objectives are being conducted, data gathering on the Orion spacecraft. But the whole recovery issue to get Orion into the well deck of the USS Portland is no small feat. Melissa Jones, who is the landing director and the recovery director from the Kennedy Space Center, has worked tirelessly to choreograph all of the elements of that recovery operation. Let's take a look now at how Orion will be recovered.
Today we are aboard the USS John P. Murtha, and behind me is a mock-up capsule of the Orion crew module, and we are training the team to be ready to do Artemis I recovery operations. My role as the NASA Recovery Director is to lead the interagency team that will recover the capsule. Ever since the Apollo program, NASA and the Navy have worked together to recover NASA's capsules in the water. So one of the huge benefits of working with the Navy is the fact that they're operational and we leverage their core competencies to bring the flight hardware and the crew back safely from the moon. On the Artemis I recovery day, my job will be to direct the team through the integrated operation to recover the capsule. The ship will get to the recovery location 24 hours before, and we will start launching weather balloons. And that data will go back to Houston and will help inform where we splash down. A couple hours before splashdown, the Navy launches small boats off of the knuckle boom crane, and helicopters will take off and they will do their circles in the air, and they are waiting for the capsule to re-enter so that they can get good data and photo imagery of the capsule on its way back to Earth. Once that is done and we splash down, we will safe the capsule, approach the capsule, attach lines to the capsule, and recover it into the well deck of the ship. Artemis I recovery operations will take about 5 hours to perform all of the work we need to do because we are gathering data so that we can fly crew mission on Artemis II. When Artemis I splashes down, it's going to be the culmination of all of the hard work that we've put in as a team. It's going to be an amazing feeling, hearing that we've met Earth's interface and that we can see 3 good main parachutes. And when we hear splashdown, I'm going to get goosebumps all over me.
I think they're going to get all the glory, Mikko.
Yeah.
And again, that whole recovery operation will take several hours.
Right,
We are
Mr.
going
Producer,
to remain on
if
the
you
air
would
for at
lower
least
the
2 hours
volume
or
on the
so
stream for
after
a while.
splashdown, so that we can bring you all the information regarding the initial safing of the vehicle and the test objectives that the flight control team here in Houston, led by Flight Director Judd Freeling, will be absorbing all of that data, mostly about the thermal conditions of the spacecraft, which will have come through some 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit in entry. And with us at this moment is the man who is going to be watching all of that very, very carefully, John Kowal, who's the Orion Thermal Protection System Manager.
What a
John,
job.
your big moment is lying ahead here. The plunge back into the Earth's atmosphere. This is the moment of truth to test the heat shield. What kind of thermal environment are you expecting for Orion as it makes its way into the Earth's atmosphere and then back through the atmosphere itself?
It's getting pretty hot.
So, as you mentioned, 5,000 degrees on the ship, but to back that up, how do we get there? So that vehicle still has all that energy that the launch rocket put into it during that first beautiful launch, right? So that gets converted into velocity. So we're going at 25,000 miles per hour, which is, how do you even fathom what that means? It's 7 miles per second. Wow. So all that energy, enough to power 4,000, 5,000 homes in a day, we have to get rid of it. And how do we do that? The vehicle comes slamming into the atmosphere, starts trying to push the air out of the way. That air is pushing back. The pressures go up. The temperatures go up. We're talking upwards of around 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit in the flow field. So that energy
Yeah,
goes
yeah,
into the flow
that's a
field, and
great
then the flow
one.
field wants to give it back to the
So
surface of the TPS. So
basically,
that's what the TPS
we
is
will
going to see, or
be
what the heat shield is
coming
going to
to the
see.
atmosphere,
That's what pushes it
do a
into
little
the
bit of air braking, and then skip over a bit of the atmosphere for another re-entry that actually takes the
It's like on
capsule
a
inside the
like on a top.
atmosphere.
Does it go like on a tighter arc the next time? You think so? It drops in that little bit sharper.
Mm,
Hard to say.
I guess a bit maybe. The idea there is to, you know, lower
Wash
the
it off.
G-forces. I think it
Yeah.
was 5 to 7 Gs that Apollo had. So basically
Mhm.
now there will be 2 periods of maximum 4G of
Cool.
deceleration. So that will be much easier for the astronauts.
Mhm. I was just trying to find that image here before. Some pretty amazing stuff. I mean, you think about all they've done leading up to this point, but it's like that thing is just coming in so hot.
Yeah. Yeah, much more velocity to burn off
It's like
than with the Crew Dragon.
there's so many stress points to this mission, and it's like this is one
Yeah.
of those big ones. A lot of knuckle biting,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
but apparently when the early tests they did they sort of went when they first designed Orion or Orion, they went to the old Apollo modules to check where they could advance from that. And it turns out, as they test and test, they're looking more towards the vintage version
Yeah.
to get the better result. So it's going to be great to see, like in a week or two's time, how they go about analysing what has actually happened.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see what happens first. See if we get it, because I think
Absolutely.
I think I saw a tweet from Brenton about them
Mhm.
trying to salvage certain parts need to survive because they need them for the next module.
Yeah.
So that's like, if it disintegrates and they get nothing, that's going to be a sad day. But I don't see that happening. I'm just putting it out there, but I don't see it
Yeah.
happening.
I mean, Orion capsule has re-entered the Earth. I mean, not from these velocities, but it has
Nah,
survived it, and I think it should be fine.
yeah,
But yeah, definitely the atmosphere skipping is something new they will try.
mm,
I don't think they have tried that before.
well, yeah. I mean, if there's like some magic way that we figure out down the line where you can just literally knock it down to an aircraft speed, maybe
Yeah.
they'll figure it out. Like it's like, oh, there's an asteroid coming.
Yeah.
It's like, no worries, we know how to stop it.
Yeah.
That's apparently what Artemis was originally designed for, to grab a little rock and bring it for
Yeah.
somewhere to hang out for gateway or something like that. I don't know. I just tapped on that one before.
Yeah, I think it was during Obama's presidency that they decided to go for the asteroid.
Yeah,
And after that, they decided to go again for the moon.
yeah, you got to go there. It's just, and there's like that, sort of coincidence that it's 50 years.
Yeah.
It is kind of it is a nice little homage to Apollo 17, I guess.
Yeah. But 50 years is a bit too much.
I know, but it's gone. We can't get it back.
Yeah.
But how many proposals have we seen in the last few years with all this? There's more teams, more competitions, more missions, more tech, more
Yeah.
companies.
I think it was Eric Berger's article or a tweet like a week ago when
Mhm.
he mentioned that in the past 50 years there's been about 15 missions to the moon, and this year there has already been more.
Wow.
So yeah.
There you go. So we're catching up on lost time or something. I guess
Yeah.
it's that whole
Yeah.
when who did we get? The last CEO of NASA? Sorry, he's just gone blank on him. Jim, Mr. Jim. What's his last name again?
Jim Free.
Bridenstine. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
he came in with a lot of energy, and I think
yeah,
he sort of
definitely.
sorted out. He sort of made it so Congress can separate what government's in play at the time to where the budget's going, and I think that's going to help a lot. Um, I mean, I did not expect Artemis to really get going so soon,
Yeah, definitely.
and that's probably the most coolest part of this. It's actually, oh, that's right, it actually happened a couple of weeks back or a month ago, and
Yeah,
this is going to determine whether they're willing to spend the money all over again. uh, Happy birthday, Rebecca Logan Baker. Awesome.
yeah.
Congratulations.
Happy birthday, Rebecca. And we do also have a couple more people in the chat. Hey, Gotski. Nice to see you here. And hey, Crystal Wifey. Good to have you
Hey,
here all.
hey guys.
And Gotski saying that hope everyone is keeping warm. I mean, at least you would be warm there in the Australia.
Uh, it's having troubles this year, Mika. But
Oh,
we've had some nice
no summer yet?
weather. Well, yeah, I mean, I'd say it's nearly there, but it hasn't really taken its hold. It's usually around February we see the big stuff. It's hot.
Yeah,
But yeah, you're definitely right. I'm not cold.
yeah. But yeah, she's saying it's literally freezing across the UK. And so it is in Finland.
It's a lot of flooding here. We had four big floods this year so far.
Yeah, that's too bad.
I just hope it's not the NASA astronauts taking photos of the fires from Australia next time.
Yeah,
You know, that was full on.
yeah,
But if this mission is successful, we should see a bit of that maybe in the sky. But it could be just blackout Apollo 13 style. Just what's happening? Is this happening?
Yeah,
But I'm all about the dive team, so I'm actually really pumped for them because I remember Warhawk mentioning them and how they train near him, and it's just like you don't think about it, but it's so integrated in how important it is. Just something so simple, but it's just not simple.
absolutely.
I mean, first you got to have the guts to jump in that water.
Yeah,
Then you got to say, "Hey, mate, how are you after your trip? Did you have a good time? Just
Yeah.
welcome to the rescue. Here you go, mate. Lie down here. You good?"
yeah,
Meanwhile, it's
and
like,
with this mission, they will be doing quite a few extra checkups. So after the capsule splashes down, they will be there for a couple of hours doing all kinds of tests. So
Yeah.
I think this today will be a big practice for the team.
Get a whole vibe on it.
Yeah,
They got definitely a reason to go out drinking.
yeah,
I mean, would you do that in Finland? It's like, yep. Australia, yep. I
Yep.
mean, at least a glass of champagne.
yeah. I mean, Artemis could be worth it.
So what about the how Gateway's going to play into this, Miko? I was thinking, do you want to tap on a bit of that?
Yeah, I mean, it will take quite a while before we'll see the gateway.
Do you
I
think
don't-
they'll use Artemis to launch it, or something else?
The gateway would be. I think they already signed the contract for Falcon Heavy, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Oh, that's a nice contract.
So SpaceX would be launching that, and
Mm-hmm.
probably that happens after Artemis Mission 3.
Yeah, right. So you've got to get the HLS in order before we get onto the Falcon Heavy Gateway stuff, you think?
Yeah, I think it's delayed quite a bit, unless the Artemis missions will be delayed by themselves. Then maybe we'll see also the gateway,
So-
but it's unlikely.
Artemis 3 is scheduled for 2025, right?
At the moment, yeah, but
Mm.
if I remember correctly, Artemis 2 might even be delayed till 25.
So this
So-
So what's happening right now is going to determine those dates a bit more. It's like, it's 2040 now. It's like, that didn't go well.
Yeah. I mean, I did read a tweet about possible delays with Artemis program. So 2025 is going to be real tight. Probably not going to happen. I mean, we can
Yeah.
hope so.
It's pretty amazing so far.
Yeah.
I mean, the real-time photos and footage is just incredible.
Yeah.
What's
for
this
sure.
guy doing? This guy's spinning a rock around with his hand. How's he doing that?
There's some touch controls probably.
That's just not fair. I need a mouse like that.
Yeah.
It's a new way to do Blender.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we should go over the Artemis timeline, or
Yeah.
maybe not timeline, but so this mission is Artemis I and the first mission of Artemis. So they went to test how the Orion flies around the moon, and they also tested a new orbit. I think that was called distant retrograde orbit, maybe.
Yeah, there's a few out there.
Yeah, but after this mission, there will be the Artemis II mission. That will be a free fly around the moon. So
slingshot normal.
Yeah, and that will be with crew. So if they fail to do any burns, it will still come back to Earth.
I got a question for you. Do you think Dear Moon will follow that exact same orbit?
I would think so. I don't think they will be orbiting the moon.
Nah,
So
they'll go and just go
I
around
think
it.
they'll do a free return trajectory.
I suppose we can congratulate all the winners for that competition as well. Dear Moon.
Absolutely.
haven't
Especially
seen it.
excited for Tim.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some. I'm just wondering who's going to do all his camera work.
Maybe he has
Elon
to
will
do
probably-
it by himself.
Maybe there'll be like 50 webcams in there.
Yeah,
We just stand anywhere in the ship and host from it. They'll
Yeah.
probably design it with him in mind.
probably. Yeah.
Be good. It's like there's Starship's actually one big broadcast van.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, the lunar broadcast vehicle.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
he
kinda what's
really
going
does
on.
have a good production quality, so I'm quite excited what we will be seeing.
Yeah. I mean, even if it's his iPhone out the window and it's redone back on YouTube, whatever, hour later, you'll be able to get real-time updates on what they're looking at.
Yeah.
But there'll be like 100 photos of this little white dot, and then they'll run out of batteries.
Yeah. Just about.
Just kidding. Just joking around. Just jokes.
Yeah.
But
And
like,
after the Artemis 2 mission, there will
Mhm.
be the Artemis 3 mission, which we all want to see. The
and that's
crewed human landing on the moon.
so. Why do they want to go to the lunar poles, Mika? Because that's where I heard they're landing.
There should be some water ice that they can potentially use for life support, fuel on the rockets. I mean,
Suppose they won't get
basically for
cooked.
living.
They won't be cooked by the sun at all, too, which is good.
Yeah, the crater should be in permanent shadow.
Yeah, you want to do that.
That's the reason.
So I suppose
going there. Yeah,
and Orion would have got some pretty recent data for the rear side of the moon too. Yeah, each time it would. So I guess they can get updated images for all that. But yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And HLS, do you think there'll be any revelations to what's going on there? Maybe post hypersonic flight Starship? Or do you think it's the Super Heavy's taking the stage until she's up and running? I guess HLS can't really do much, right?
Yeah, I mean, I do think HLS probably wouldn't be the limiting factor on the Artemis 3 mission, and it will
Nah.
be SLS and NASA.
Yeah.
So I would think it will be ready in time. Hopefully we'll see the first Starship orbital launch early next year.
Yeah. When they run out of paint.
Yeah, that's going to be
That's the biggest deal.
Yeah, going to be a big deal there.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. And
a lot of turtles won't be thinking that.
Yeah. And recently, SpaceX did get a deal for a second lunar landing as well. And I do think they may be doing 2 unmanned test landings on the moon as well.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, if they do, let's say, one in 24, another in 25, I could see 26, 27 being a potential year for the moon landing.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a woman too, right? Or
yeah.
Am I going? Yeah.
I think there will probably be 4 people going there.
That does need to happen.
Yeah.
There's a lot of contenders for that too.
Yeah.
Have they locked that team in?
No.
They got
No. I think it will happen quite a bit later.
Yeah. Space time.
Yeah. And Rich is commenting the crazy footage from Artemis I, especially the flyby of the moon was great when we saw Earth popping into the view from behind it. And another good view was from the DRO orbit, from the furthest point where the moon and the Earth were similar in size.
Yeah. 400 times smaller than the Earth, is it? No, 400 times smaller than the Sun, but 400 times further away. Something like that. That's what gives us the eclipse. It's 400 and 400. I can't remember the way it's done though.
I don't know about the numbers, but yeah.
That's what happens at 3:57 a.m. in Australia.
Yeah.
But okay, we're on 17,420 something kilometers an hour. That's coming in hot.
Yeah. And
you really would be thinking about the brakes at this stage, wouldn't you?
Definitely. And yeah, Kotsky is saying she's waiting for the images of the surface taken by the astronauts, the high resolution images.
Yeah, they'll have some crazy cameras by then.
Yeah.
We're talking probably 20K.
Yeah. And
it's stupid. 16K at least.
Yeah.
I mean, no one will have a TV good enough.
Yeah, and someone you know as well is on the chat too, Marco. Hey, Marco.
Mr. Marco's in the house. I saw Alex there before too.
Yeah, I think he just joined.
Good times.
Yeah. Indeed, the usual suspects.
It's got to be done. This is cool.
Yeah, Rich is asking for a secondary view. I'm not sure what he means, but maybe he will
Mr. Producer.
explain that.
I'm thinking maybe a stream elsewhere. So what's Australia doing right now? I can see it on the main screen.
Would that possibly be the signal lock that we are seeing, the green line on the screen?
That'd be from Canberra or Parks, or no, it's a DSC in Canberra. Is there another station out there too?
I'm not sure.
Because it's a Pacific Ocean splashdown. Do you think it'll be more towards? I mean, where is that boat?
Should be much closer to the US border.
Yeah, something going on there.
Yeah, And thank you very much, Crystal Wifey, for the super chat.
Oh,
It's
wow.
appreciated.
Thank you
£5.
so much. Cool. You guys rock.
Yeah.
And the what do you think? Do you think the heat tiles on Starship could advance in any way if this is really successful, or do you think that's going to stick? Not that I should be talking about it.
I mean, after the first orbital flight, I'm sure we'll see quite a few changes. One could be for the heat tiles, but before that, I don't really think we can know how they perform.
It's like ever since I watched that interview with Peter Beck and Tim Dodd, I just Peter mentioned these plasma knives that were like eating up the rockets in the early days of electrons.
Yeah.
And it just got me curious to how much they've still got to learn. It seems like they've got a good handle on it, but it sounds like chaos up there. But when you've got
plasma usually tries to kill the rocket.
And it's like when you're dropping rockets back into the atmosphere, that's different to a probe spacecraft or whatever. Like these little
the basic capsule design is like aerodynamically stable when re-entering. So basically, it should be able to re-enter safely without any kind of RCS.
Plus, it's buoyant as well.
Yeah.
I got that whole thing going. I mean, one side's like the ultimate heat, the other side's like, yeah, we got you in the water. You're good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. We will be seeing a time-lapse video here. Let's
check
it out.
Flyby.
Oh, that's a nice one.
It's not wobbly. Did you see that one where it was all wobbly? It looked like they were holding up the moon with a piece of string and the spacecraft with another piece of string.
Yeah, that must have been from the high-definition cameras that was uploaded later.
That was
the
sick.
Live views were probably a bit wobbly.
Should just leave that on loop, that video, and just put it in a corner. What do you reckon, Az? It was awesome. Good call, Rich.
It was a great one. Well, we can check it out for a second time, but I think that will be enough.
We can stream what we wish we had with the control and they've got right now, but they need it because there's millions of dollars at stake.
Yeah.
That's all right. I mean, that is what it's all about, really.
Yeah, Rich, looping it is apparently more difficult than it sounds. So we won't be doing that.
So have you got any places picked out on the moon you want to go, Mikko? Anything particular?
Somewhere on the South Pole would be great.
Imagine like with the Terminator's going across the surface. I mean, I wonder if you could run faster than that on the moon, like bunny, like you do the rabbit hops. Like I think we all just want to see astronauts do the rabbit hop again to see if that was real.
Yeah.
But that's not saying I don't believe.
I remember a book by Andy Weir. It's Artemis. It's also about the moon. I'm not going to spoil it too much, but there's a base on the moon, and it's basically built around the Apollo 1 landing site. So you can go see the landing site at the base,
lava tubes.
or you will see it from the windows. So that's pretty great. And we have Inspector on chat. Hey, Inspector, welcome.
Welcome. So how we look at Mikko?
Right, looks like we are. The recovery operations going on, and looking at the NASA timeline, I think the service module has already separated.
Really?
Yeah.
Some podcaster I am.
Yeah. But entry
Where were they?
interface will take a while still, because I think for Crew Dragon it's around 45 minutes before splashdown when they do a burn, but I would think this should take maximum of 30 minutes even with the atmospheric skip.
Do you reckon they just got told in that speedboat, hey, mate, you better get 100 k's down south, you're off? They're just like, let's let it rip.
Yeah.
We better get there. It looks like they're hammering.
Yeah. You could call that a fast boat.
Navy SEALs do it. Far out, I mean. Do you reckon how many of these crew that they've got now that are involved with this Artemis I, or how many are going to be left for Artemis III by the time that plays out? It must be full on, doing a transition of team picking and getting your engineers. Sure. The HR on that's mad.
Yeah. Yeah, and for the astronauts, we have seen the Artemis generation photos. So we basically know who will be, I mean, amongst whom will be the American astronauts from. But on top of that, there will be at least one Canadian astronaut.
I reckon if we're going to go to Mars, they need to send Luca Parmitano. He's the guy. He's the commander. He's good.
Yeah, I think there will be 3 Americans and 1 Canadian for the first lunar landing. Hopefully we'll see some European astronauts for the next one.
Wonder what other civilian missions they might have in mind. You've got the Dear Moon, but I mean, is it going to be another one of those? What was that other one called? Start with P.
Polaris program.
Yeah, with Haley and that. Yeah. That was just the Dragon capsule.
Yeah,
first but it had the.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
They'll do the EVA with the Dragon capsule next year, and then they will be probably servicing the Hubble.
Oh, really?
For the third, yeah, probably. And I mean, it's not confirmed, but it kind of seems like it.
It needs a bit of a TLC.
Yeah. And for the third mission, they will be doing the first crewed flight with the Starship.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's just cool.
Looks like we have another super chat from Sukule. Merry Christmas.
Awesome.
Hope everyone gets NASA merch. Thank you very much for the super chat.
Thank you very much.
And NASA merch is always good.
Yeah.
Right, we are about 32 minutes from the splashdown. I think we should probably start listening what NASA has to say.
Awesome.
So we'll be answering questions if there are any.
Yeah, feel free to put some in.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'll be listening NASA's updates on the mission.
Oh, timing.
Right. Looks like NASA isn't.
We're doing a good job
at the moment.
we're doing all the work.
Yeah. But we are seeing the recovery ship has slowed its speed down, so it's probably as close as it's going to be.
Yeah, they're orientating. Bit like moving.
Mission Control Houston, 12 minutes away from entry interface. Everything is going by the book so far here in Mission Control. Very quiet on the loops. Entry Flight Director Judd Freeling and his team of flight controllers watching carefully over their data as they oversee the arrival of Orion for its splashdown site west of Baja, California. Time to splashdown 31 minutes.
West of Baja.
Here's some total space merge.
Nice. Get caffeinated with total space.
Go buy that coffee cup.
You get Christmas treats in this season with the cup. It's possible.
Unfortunately not.
Christmas wrapping. Bit of custom Christmas action.
Yeah.
The
There's-
custom Christmas cup.
There's potential.
Less than 11 minutes now until entry interface.
All right.
Interface.
During the period of the two blackouts,
actually talk about
and even after we have emerged from the second of the two blackouts, Orion, through a series of pre-programmed commands stored on board, will conduct a series of role reversals. This is very much like space shuttles conducted during their entries back to Earth, where it will roll to the left and then back to the right, banking roll reversals that will bleed off excess energy, excess inertia, and speed, and control the thermal characteristics of the vehicle as it heads towards its subsonic point, where it will go under Mach 1. It will go subsonic at about 11:34 and 55 seconds a.m. Central Time, some 5 minutes before splashdown. If everything goes as planned, Orion will reach an altitude of 40,000 feet at 11:35 a.m. Central Time, just about a minute before forward bay cover chute deploy begins. The series of 11 chutes, 3 that will pull the forward bay cover off of the top of the crew module. That'll be followed by the deployment of the drogue chutes, and then the 3 large main parachutes, 3 orange and white parachutes. That'll be the moment we'll be waiting for. Orion now 28.5 minutes until splashdown.
Do you think those chutes are used on anything else, Mikko? Do you know?
I don't think so. They are probably new chutes. The design, however, is similar to Apollo. I think there was 3 chutes instead of 4, as with Crew Dragon.
Yeah, are they
So-
using that Xylon? You know,
I'm
the
not
stuff
sure. Yeah, SpaceX does, but I'm
Mm.
not sure about NASA.
Yeah. They developed it together, right? For Crew Dragon, right? That was it.
Well, yeah.
They
I
kept
mean,
breaking them.
there was the third-party firm that makes the parachutes.
It's like
Maybe
a blur.
Airborne some
Orion
Airborne
is
something
approaching
was the company's name.
the northwest coast of Australia. 27.5 minutes until splashdown. We're just 8 minutes away from the point at which Orion will dip into the Earth's atmosphere and begin what basically is a hellish entry, where temperatures around the spacecraft will raise to about 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's half as hot as the outer surface of the sun.
I
That's
wonder if
twice
you
as-
could see if you could see the capsule re-entry from
Maybe.
there if they dip into the atmosphere over Australia.
I'll put that in my renovation.
And
plan.
correction, Orion is
observation
actually
deck.
traveling over the South Pacific at the moment, moving from south to north. Just 7.5 minutes until entry interface.
It's good that it's near there, though. Makes
Okay,
it a little
so
bit more fitting.
Yeah. Yeah, makes more sense.
So it's already separated. It's coming in hot.
Yep, I think it will be just about 5 more minutes for the entry interface.
So if the astronauts were in there, what do you think they'd be doing right now?
I'm not sure
Holding
if
on.
they have iPads for watching movies like on Crew Dragon.
And this view from a camera
But
inside
I would
the
probably
cabin
think they
of
would be
Orion.
watching views.
This doesn't look like much at the moment, but it will soon when it shows the forward bay cover jettisoning and the initiation of the parachute deployment system. Entry interface less than 6.5 minutes from now.
Excellent. Clock's ticking, dude.
Yep. It's cool to have a
I've just
camera.
got the Hollywood sound effects coming into my head. know.
Hollywood effects or Benno effects?
Yeah, a bit of both. There's a lot of fun to be had there.
Yeah, I remember you have at least made sound effects for one Caspar Stanley video.
Just
right?
to recap, the
Yeah, I
crew
did.
module, the Orion
Tweaked-
crew module separated from the
tweaked one and did
European
one.
service module about 14 and a half minutes ago, right on target as it was planned, and a short raise maneuver, a 16-second firing of Orion's thrusters, oriented the vehicle, raising it just a tad so that its heat shield was at the proper orientation in the direction of travel, to begin entry interface in about 5 minutes at an altitude of 400,000 feet above the Earth. Orion is making its way south to north
Just
across
thinking
the
about a bird
Pacific
strike.
Ocean. Currently traveling at 23,000 miles an hour.
Bring it on.
Yeah, 23,000 miles an hour would be
It's 40,000
around
Ks.
We're about 5 minutes away from
Not
entering the
quite, maybe
first of the two
35.
blackout periods,
Yeah.
which will last about 4 minutes and 48 seconds.
It's 12 seconds off. What's going on, NASA? Everything's calm and cool, and then everything just heats up. Everyone's stressing.
Yeah.
Well, I got to say, it's been a pleasure to do this live stream with you, Mikko,
Oh, absolutely. It's been
and everyone
fun.
out there
A
who's joined
journey
us.
that
So thanks for
began
coming along.
with
Yeah.
the power
Pretty
of the launch
cool
of the
moment.
Space Launch System 25 and a half days ago, about to reach its final minutes in the searing heat of reentry, where temperatures around Orion will build up to 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Just under 4 minutes until entry interface.
Yeah, thanks for watching with us, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. This is good times.
Yeah.
And this will just hopefully cut the next 50 years into about 10 pieces in the sense of where we're going to be in 10 years instead of 50.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Bring that on. I keep thinking it's going to be a reusable booster coming in for some reason.
Well,
Once
that
again,
does look
at
like a
entry
drone ship.
interface, which we will reach about 3 minutes from now, Orion will be at an altitude of 400,000 feet, traveling just under 25,000 miles an hour, with a range to splashdown of 3,659 statute miles.
All right.
Within seconds after reaching
about
entry
go
interface,
time.
we'll begin the first of the two blackout periods. That will last just under 5 minutes, about 4 minutes and 48 seconds.
Bring it on.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Inspector. We appreciate it.
So how many companies do you think are involved with just this one piece? Just Boeing themselves?
I think the Orion is actually Lockheed Martin.
It's Lockheed Martin, that's
product.
right, yeah.
Yeah. And
My
the
mistake.
rocket itself is Boeing, but there's also part.
And here's
part
the ground track
of-
for
well, the
Orion
upper
as it
stage is
passes
ULA.
well to the west of South America. We're just 1 minute, 44 seconds away from entry interface, moving from south to north to its splashdown target west of Baja, California.
Be a few people on that beach.
Yeah. That's a nice graphic. Pretty fast
It is.
flying across the South America.
Did he say was it 4 miles a second or 7? 4.
I think in miles it would be around 4.
Yeah. It's just nuts.
24. I mean, yeah.
Just
In
1 minute away
kilometers,
from
the
entry
orbital speed
interface.
is about 7.5.
Damn, here we go.
And this is more.
I keep thinking that's a
And
window.
this view from the cabin camera, looking out of the upper hatch of Orion, you can see the limb of the Earth. We're going to be losing all of the data here shortly once we enter into the Earth's atmosphere and begin the first of the 2 blackout periods.
There it is.
Nice.
Well, she's fogging up.
Let's see, can we see any movement on the... Yeah, there's some movement.
It's moving. Oh, now we're seeing some more movement. It's tilting that little bit for that skip off.
Yeah.
They get the little
Standing
adjustments.
by for entry interface and the first of the 2 blackout periods.
I wonder if Tom Hanks is thinking about doing Apollo 13 too.
We are now in the entry phase.
Yeah, there it is.
More
Look at that.
movement.
Entry interface has begun. Entry interface at 400,000 feet. Orion traveling just under 25,000 miles an hour.
Oh,
there she
goes. Yeah.
Plasma night.
We've gone into the first blackout period. This is a visualization
around the capsule.
based on what should be happening at the moment, where the temperatures around the heat shield are reaching about 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the moment of truth for Orion.
Hopefully
we should be coming out of this first blackout
Stand
period
by.
just under 4 minutes from now.
History in the making, folks.
Yep.
Orion should be traveling about 23,326 miles
50 years ago, they had guys in them.
Range to splashdown, 3,125 statute miles.
This is cool.
Again, this is a
3,100, so that's...
of what should be happening with Orion at the moment, although we are in a blackout period that should end about 3 minutes and 15 seconds from now. Once we emerge from this first blackout period, we'll conduct the skip entry maneuver that will further dissipate heat and energy.
Yeah, he was looping a bit.
Begin a very, very dramatic reduction.
Yeah, we turned the NASA audio a bit down. We can still listen to it, but it won't cut our comments as much.
And we've got this. Do you reckon it'll just be a shot from the boat with them with the chutes out, and we'll see the chutes pop out of the craft as well first? I guess that's when we'll know. Yeah.
That will be after the skip. So I think in a few moments the capsule is already going up in the atmosphere.
First blackout period to end about 2 minutes and 18 seconds from now. The second of the 2 blackout periods would begin.
It's a long time to be under that kind of heat, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
About 7 minutes, followed by the jettisoning of the forward bay cover. That will begin the sequence of the deployment of the parachutes. First, a pair of drogue chutes, 3 pilot parachutes that will then pull 3 main parachutes to begin the final moments of Orion's descent back to its splashdown in the Pacific Ocean.
So we got any questions in there, Mika? We should look after?
No questions really, but Alex is saying just imagine what's happening in front of the heat shield right now. Insane. Few thousand degrees. It's gonna be
definitely.
And inspected, it's the NASA stream to come here. Thank you. And I agree, Rich does a good job of explaining things. And speaking of interviews, we do have interview with the Orbital Assembly Corporation coming up pretty soon. That's our second interview with them.
This would be a whole different deal if it was on Mars too, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That landing of that rover was insane though.
Mm-hmm. Right now we are getting closer to the exciting point. Will we see Orion pop out from the atmosphere soon?
Mm-hmm. This is the full Apollo 13 moment without people on it.
Yeah. I would say just about 30 seconds.
Makes me think of the steel on Starship a bit.
Yeah.
Lock it in, Eddie.
Hopefully we'll see a lock. Oh, Gotski's on the big screen. Nice.
Yeah, I need a big screen of it.
I think we should be starting to see the telemetry soon. These are not always like you can't know by the second. All right, we have data.
Here we go. Here we go. Wow.
Nice.
That's the shot.
Yep.
So that's a good. Right on the money. Welcome back, Orion. Welcome home.
Yeah, you can see how fast it's going by looking at the clouds.
Good communications established with Orion.
Oh yeah.
Ooh. Signals cut again. Probably a handover period from a satellite to another, or a ground station to another.
It's coming in hot. So do you think there's any particulars on the heat shield they're looking at compared to what we used to see on, I don't know, the Apollo days? I guess it's all these maneuvers, isn't it? That's really doing all the work.
Yeah, I don't think it's really much different from Apollo, but could be much thicker because I think Orion should be reusable.
I saw that the original capsule was one big heat shield of the same material, just more denser in the bottom.
Yeah.
But I wonder what it's worth.
Yeah. Right, and we should say hi to Kotski's parents. Hi.
Hello. Problemos. Good times, Mikko.
Yeah. Right.
On the money's always good.
Doing the skip maneuver.
I haven't got a stream to look at.
Well, Mr. Producer.
He had to leave.
Went away. So we are not actually seeing the live view at the moment. He'll be right back.
He'll have to go to the YouTube stream where the chat is. You
Yeah,
get
he's
a
doing
bit of a lag.
another. He's doing another stream with Angry. So for the moment, we'll wait for him for a while.
We should be in that second blackout period right now.
He's back.
Right, good.
Orion approaching a velocity of 20 times the speed of sound. If all goes as
Just
planned,
going to pull up some of these questions I had.
with a solid lockup on
Yep.
the vehicle
Go ahead.
at 11:31 and 46 seconds a.m. Central Time.
Dive team must be in massive anticipation mode right now. They're like, I wonder what happens if they like mess up or something and get fired on the spot. You think? Like it's like, oh, there goes 7 years of hard work.
Yeah.
It's like, mate, you forgot to lift that bracket off that strap. You're fired. It's like, what?
Oh, for sure. They've been waiting it for a while.
Tough job.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't look like much when you're looking at it from a TV camera, but just to be in there and be like, what the hell? The deep blue.
Yeah. They must have had quite a bit of training in the last few months.
Mm. Yeah, well, Walk was saying they trained down near him back in the day.
Mm. Yeah, I think I remember that.
Yeah.
It's a nice memory.
I think of him when I think of the dive team.
Yeah.
So these, I guess that wouldn't matter.
One of the airborne assets to track Orion's return to Earth has visual acquisition of the vehicle. We should be coming out of this.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully
Orion.
we'll see the
30 seconds. All right.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll see the live image
Strap in.
from the NASA plane soon.
That last shot was gold. Strap in, people. We're going for a ride.
Now have a visual acquisition of Orion as well. At an altitude of 174,000 feet, traveling.
Oh, no way.
12,600 miles an hour. Range to splashdown 288 statute miles.
Here we go. Yeah, for sure.
This view on the deck of the USS Portland.
Yeah, we did see.
Thank you, Mr. Aaron.
See the blue skies, but didn't really see the capsule yet. But hopefully we'll see it soon.
There's definitely
Live
some flames
views
still
from
going.
The capsule.
Of Orion, as it continues a series of role reversals, we have data back from the spacecraft. Flight dynamics reports Orion straight and narrow on a true course toward its splashdown site. Forward bay cover jettisoning less than 3.5 minutes from now.
This
Excellent.
like the signal is still a bit spotty. Oh, that's a nice view.
Oh. Are you digging this?
Yeah.
This is what we play for.
Mm-hmm.
This is totally worth staying up for, man.
Yeah. What's the time there now? Something like 5 a.m.
4:33 a.m.
Yeah.
It's a shame it's not 4:20. It's kind of.
Orion's speed now down to Mach 6.
Mach 6.
Go ahead.
minutes until forward bay cover jettisoning. Orion 100,000 feet now.
Okay. Boop. Okay.
Spacecraft about to
Yeah.
go subsonic.
Getting nice views from there.
This is what it's all about, eh, Mikko?
Yeah.
So much time and effort, money and politics. And
So I think
mean-
the splashdown is planned in about 4 minutes.
we should
So
be parachuting soon.
yeah, I think we will go full screen and we'll continue our commentary after the splashdown.
"45 seconds until forward bay cover jettisoning. Orion now at 50,000 feet. Forward bay cover jettisoning pyros are armed. "25,000 feet. Drogues have been deployed. Two good drogue shoots reported by the recovery team out in the Pacific. The descent rate is right on the money. Orion's velocity now down to 282 miles an hour. Range to splashdown 1.5 miles. 10,000 feet now. And we're on mains. 5,000 feet. Reefing in progress. Three good main shoots for Orion. We have three fully inflated main shoots. Time to splashdown 90 seconds. Perfect descent rate reported. And there it is, High over the Pacific, America's new ticket to ride to the moon and beyond now in view. Orion under its chutes descending toward splashdown. Orion in the perfect orientation for splashdown, just seconds away. (1,000 feet). Good descent rate. (500 feet). Splashdown. From Tranquility Base to Taurus Littrow to the tranquil waters of the Pacific, the latest chapter of NASA's journey to the moon comes to a close. Orion, back on Earth. Unofficial splashdown time, 11:40 and 30 seconds a.m. Central Time. At a mission elapsed time of 25 days.
Cool.
All right.
Well, here we are.
What a splashdown. Glad to see the Orion capsule safely back home.
We might be actually get to go before 2030.
Yeah.
No dramas.
Uh,
How's everybody doing?
Mr. Producer, can you put the NASA audio back then? Okay. Yep.
No problemos. Baja California, eh?
Yeah.
Well, aren't they the lucky ones? That's
Yeah.
cool.
But now that Orion has splashed down, I bet we'll be seeing some action around the capsule pretty soon. I think for SpaceX it usually takes 10 to 15 minutes before the first boats get near. They will usually do some measurements if there are any hydraulics near, so it's safe for the crews to go there. But with this mission, there will be about 2 hours of different kind of tests, so they won't be lifting the capsule on the boat too fast. We'll be here for some time, but we probably won't be here for the whole 2 hours. I think at least Benno has to go sleep at some point.
That's all right. It's a special occasion.
Yeah, I think you
Yeah.
took the day off from work, right?
Oh, we don't. Well, we'll see if I have to, but
Yeah.
right now I'm just like enjoying the moment because, you know, you don't get to just sit back and do this every day. It's like Starliner was the last one. It just let me down so hard. I was like, what the hell?
Absolutely.
And it's like, I hope they come back with a vengeance and do it right because I think they will. But this is good. It motivates them all.
Yeah.
Get it right.
Yeah. So chat, if you have any questions, now would be a good time for us to answer those. And thanks for the comment, Alex. Great coverage, guys.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Awesome to see you here.
Yeah. Great to have you all here.
It is. And Orion safe and sound. back in the big blue.
Yeah.
Now it's diver anxiety mode.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, this is what you've trained for.
Yeah.
He's back. With your binoculars.
Ryan safely bobbing up and down in the Pacific Ocean.
I'm going to write something now. Dark Side Galaxy, that's awesome.
Right. Hey, Dark Side Galaxy. Nice to see you here as well.
The little dot of Mars coming over the moon was pretty spectacular.
Oh, yeah. There were quite a few awesome pictures. Oh, there's the fast boat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like an Earthrise and a Marsrise out of the same mission. It's kind of nuts.
Yeah. I'm not sure where the recovery boat was going. It just sped by fast.
Got a question here, Mikko. Inspector
Right.
Flex a big box. You want to read it out?
Right. So what companies/projects do you think are destined for great things that people might not have heard of? Right. That's a good question.
We've got the new application competition, don't we? For HLS and the other one, what was it?
Yeah, for HLS, there is the second round. So after the 2 SpaceX landings, there will be a possibility for a second lander. There might be, I think there's 2, national team and Dynetics. So those are the 2 that actually submitted an application.
6.5 minutes ago at 11:40 a.m. Central Time, 9:40 a.m. Pacific Time. We are estimating that it splashed down around 5 nautical miles away from the USS Portland. The recovery ship and Navy boats and divers will be approaching the vehicle before long. The spacecraft is in what is called a stable 1 configuration, upright, just the way we had expected it to be.
I saw the chopper.
The chopper.
Get to the chopper.
Maintaining a nice gentle configuration for Orion. First of the Navy helicopters now approaching the vehicle. And here in mission control,
you get pretty seasick in there.
Continue
systems no longer needed are being powered down. Many of them will stay powered up for the next 2 hours while we conduct a
I'll
series
continue answering after there's no NASA commentary for Inspector's question.
I've got to say, Rob's done a great job too.
For crewed missions to
Yeah.
determine how long
He really has.
crews can remain comfortable inside a vehicle returning from the moon. We also will be conducting tests of the beacon and SARSAT system for maintaining tracking of the spacecraft, for recovery forces that will be approaching the spacecraft in the future. And coming up in the next hour and a half will be the reactivation of an ammonia boiler system that will provide cooling in the spacecraft, as it will when crews return from their missions on board Orion.
Genius.
If I understood correctly, they will be trying a satellite system. So if there were people inside, it would be a good time to make a prank call from the capsule.
And they've got. Do you think they'll get around this cutoff, these blackout things eventually?
No.
It's just too much going on, right?
I mean, it's interesting to know if something like Starlink could see through those, but at the moment, I don't really think that's going to happen. But continuing on the question of companies that people might not have heard of, as Rich is saying in the chat, Orbital Assembly Corporation, who are going to build a space hotel with artificial gravity. We do have an interview coming up pretty soon from them. Another company I'm quite excited is Rogue Space. They are basically building orbital robots that can, help build the stations, service satellites. We've had, I think, 2 interviews with them as well. Cool. So, yeah, our channel does have quite a few not as well-known companies that we've interviewed. So definitely check those out.
It's like a 0G socket set.
2 Navy helicopters flying in the vicinity of Orion, which is about 5 nautical miles away from the ship, indicate no damage to the spacecraft and no hazardous fuel leaking from the spacecraft. Good view of the helicopters.
Boeing will be spewing.
To the comment from Alex.
Once again, the splashdown occurring at 11:40 a.m. Central Time, 9:40 a.m. Pacific Time.
Nice one, Alex.
Indigenous mechanical life form inspecting a strange conical alien that fell from the skies.
That's brilliant. Yep. I love that. It's like a little dragonfly coming to check the bug.
Yeah. Indeed.
Where are we on the space junk cleanup, Mikko?
Well,
anything new there? I know the Japanese are working on something.
Yeah, there's few companies. Astroscale, we interviewed them. They will, I think they got some sort of contract with ESA maybe, if I'm not remembering wrong. Yeah, I think there was about 100 million contract from ESA to clean up some space debris. Also, the Rogue Space I was speaking about, they would probably be doing debris cleanup if they get paid for it. There's also quite a few other companies who would be doing it, as well as new technologies that could prevent it.
So we've got to do that.
Yeah, for example, a Finnish company, Aurora Propulsion, is producing, what was it, a plasma brake. Basically, it would roll out a tether and give some electricity to it, so it will be reacting to the magnetic field of the Earth and thus slowing down, so the satellite would re-enter at some point.
That's brilliant, dude.
So that would, I'm not sure what was the time, but I think it was working up to 1,200 kilometers.
Far out.
Yeah.
I suppose also, a lot of things that are going up now. A lot of things that are going up now that have to be sort of approved in the sense of how they do descend and die.
Yeah.
Like the Starlink satellites, they've got their own little, come back to Earth. And, you're not feeling well. You're a little sick, mate.
Was it FAA or FCC or whatever that governs the space? They did lessen the time for a satellite needed to be disposed from space.
Okay.
Was it from 25 years to 5? I'm not exactly sure about the numbers, but it
They're
was
getting
significant for the future.
more strict. That's good.
Yeah.
Someone else is thinking they could start with space and work their way back in and cleaning up everything else.
Yeah.
No problem.
And just a moment ago, we saw the helicopter flying on top of the capsule, doing some inspections. There it is
So far,
again,
so
and
good.
I can see also some boat next to it.
This is Mission Control Houston, Orion.
No leaking chemicals. That's good.
Pacific Ocean, having splashed down at 11:40 a.m. Central Time, 9:40 a.m. Pacific Time, around 5 nautical miles or so from the USS Portland, a textbook entry for the vehicle. On the USS Portland at this hour, my colleague Daryl Nell from the Kennedy Space Center, who's with the Exploration Ground Systems Recovery Team. Daryl, how did it look to you? It certainly looked textbook to us here.
I'd say that's a great description, Rob. Perfectly landed here in the Pacific Ocean, and that's been confirmed by the operations manager that I just spoke to. Watching it from the deck as an observer, we have, as you can see, some broken clouds in the sky, like right around 3,000 feet. But we saw those 3 full main parachutes pop out. It was a beautiful sight, probably just about several thousand feet in the sky, and then we watched that slow descent as the Orion crew module made its way down to the Pacific Ocean. Saw the splash, and then, of course, the assets aboard the USS Portland here immediately started making their way towards the splashdown site, and as you see live now, they are close to being next to the capsule. Now, the helicopters that you see flying there, those are MH-60s. We have 2 of them in the air, and they are right now gathering high-quality, high-definition imagery of the capsule in the water. There's a spotter aboard. We have photographers as well. The doors are completely open on both sides of the helicopters, and so you can see them flying a circular track around the splashdown location. They have marked, if you can see it, you can see what looks like smoke coming off the location just to the left there. That is the boats having marked location where some of the debris has come down, the debris that was part of the separation event, part of the parachutes opening event. So you have the sabot as well as the lid from the parachutes. All of that is being tracked by the Sasquatch team, and the Navy boats are marking that with floatable smoke grenades. All of that hardware, the team...
It's like a forensic team.
Yeah.
There's valuable information and data in it. The helicopters will be out for another 20 minutes.
Hey, Mikko.
Gathering imagery.
Yeah.
You can see
It reminds me of when that guy found the Dragon capsule hatch on his driveway.
Yeah.
CSS camera, ultra high definition, 8K, which is gathering imagery.
Yeah, well, show us, mate.
We are currently on.
They should share an image now.
Yeah.
Go right by
Would be
the
great.
splashdown location. So
We've got viewers here. Come on.
right about 3.5 miles and closing. We are going to a point that's going to be 1 mile out. That's our next waypoint. 1 mile out from the splashdown location. One of the things we're waiting for is for ammonia boil off. And that's why the Navy boats are not yet next to the capsule. We're still going to wait that out. The amount of time that that's going to take has not been determined. They have allowed for as much as 2 hours. The ammonia on the capsule is used for cooling purposes, to keep the cabin cool for crew. Of course, there's no crew in this capsule, but for future missions, it will certainly be an important part of keeping the astronauts cool during the heat of reentry. But for now, they're going to vent off that ammonia. And as they do that, it's not quite safe to get close to the capsule with the Navy divers. So, of course, we'll keep our eyes fixed to the location, our cameras as well. USS Portland standing by for our next waypoint, 1 mile from the splashdown site. And then once the completion of the ammonia boil-off, the Navy boats will be going in. A spectacular sight from out here, Rob. Toss it back to you.
All right.
Thanks, Daryl. Back here in Mission Control, the entry Flight Director Judd Freeling on the left. To his left, Flight Director Rick Henfling. And with me on console here, probably none more important than the NASA Administrator, Bill Nelson. Senator, thank you for joining us today.
Rob, I'm overwhelmed. I'd say it's good to see you, but this is an extraordinary day.
I remember years ago when I saw you return on Columbia from your mission into space, and it all conjures up a tremendous amount of memories. Orion back on Earth, having circumnavigated the moon, having survived a critical test of its heat shield. I think you have to be hesitant to celebrate and throw confetti a little bit too early, but it certainly is an important achievement, is it not?
It's historic because we are now going back into space, into deep space, with a new generation. Kennedy just stunned everybody with the Apollo generation and said that we were going to achieve what we thought was impossible, and did that in a short period of time. And many things have happened since, but we knew we were going back, but we knew we were going back to the moon just to continue to explore outward into the cosmos. And so that's why this is a defining day. It is one that marks new technology, a whole new breed of astronaut, a vision for the future that captures the DNA of particularly Americans, although we do this as an international venture. And that DNA is we are adventurers, we are explorers. We always have a frontier, and that frontier is now to continue exploring the heavens.
We had to wait a while for Artemis to finally get to the point where the Space Launch System got us underway back on November 16th. But once it did, these engineers and the other members of the team's front room, back room, they've been pretty giddy over the amount of data that they've required and how this vehicle appears to have exceeded its expectations in its performance.
The whole vehicle, the rocket, the European participation in the support module, the spacecraft itself, Orion, performing so well that they added a lot of tests. And lo and behold, we're going to be up to our ears in data, thankfully. And of course, today the two main things that had to happen was that that heat shield had to work, and it did beautifully, where they can skip off the atmosphere and bleed that speed down from 25,000 miles an hour. And then the parachutes had to work, and they did it as well.
You know, the engineering, the design of this mission, all the work that will go into the next flight when a crew is on board, right, to orbit the moon. What does this say about NASA and the international partner cooperation and the partnership that ultimately takes us not only to the moon but beyond?
Well, it says a lot about our country because we don't do it secretively. We do it openly, and we do it with our friends, and we invite all peoples of the earth. And we are doing it also with commercial partners, because when we go into orbit on Apollo 3, we are going to rendezvous and dock with in this case, SpaceX lander, and the crew will go down to the surface. And then we have another competition going on now for another lander, so that we will have two landers. And again,
There it
this
is.
is the program of going back to the moon to learn, to live, to invent, to create in order to explore beyond.
50 years ago today, Gene Cernan
Well
and
said.
Jack Schmitt landed their lunar module Challenger on Taurus Littrow, the final lunar landing. It only seems fitting half a century later to the day, Orion back home.
And
That's amazing.
what a fitting opportunity that I had last night to sit with Jack Schmitt at the astronaut dinner and to talk to him about those experiences. 50 years, it's a long time, but look what we have done in the meantime. The space shuttle, we built the International Space Station, we brought in commercial partners. We now go to and from regularly the International Space Station with cargo and crew. And here we go. We've got scouts going to the moon that are commercial scouts that land, that take NASA instruments and scientific instruments in preparing us for the landings of our astronauts. And so it's a new day. A new day has dawned. An Artemis generation is taking us there.
And Orion continues to await the arrival of the USS Portland, which shouldn't be very much longer from now, and some flight test objectives that will be taking place over the next couple of hours before we here in Houston hand the vehicle over to the Kennedy Space Center recovery team. NASA Administrator Bill Nelson, pleasure to see you today, and thank you so much for being with us.
What a day. Oh, it is my great privilege.
Boom.
All right. Since this will take almost 2 hours, since we actually may see the capsule getting on board the ship, we are going to call off the stream at this point. So feel free to go watch the NASA stream on their channel. We can link it in the chat. But it's been absolutely great having you all here, and I've enjoyed it, and I'm sure Benno has enjoyed this too.
Most certainly so. Thanks for having me, Mikko. Thanks for helping out another Space Nut, and to all you guys that have joined us tonight, or today for some of you. And yeah, I hope we get some more re-entry error-breaking action in this coming months.
Absolutely. All right.
Bring that on. Thanks so much.
Yeah. So see you all in the next episode or a stream, and have a great evening, afternoon, or a night.
See you.